Hey, welcome to the Real Pest World Orlando.
Yo, Kevin.
15 pest control business owners representing approximately $100 million in combined annual revenue, backed by 7 sponsors with one bold vision. You can't compete with us because we want you to win. Welcome to the Real Pest World 2025. Hey bro, welcome to the Princess Room. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bug Bux Podcast. I'm your host, Allan Draper. If you're watching on YouTube or you're seeing this on social media, it might look a little different.
This is our new set.
Coming to you live from the Real Pest World House in Orlando, and more specifically, coming to you from the Princess Room. So if you're listening to this, I need you to, once you get back to the office or you're in front of your phone, I want you to check it out. You need to see the visual because we're going to be recording in different rooms as we do this kind of unique episode that we've never done before. But we're talking about kind of this new idea that we have. And by we, I'm trying to take the credit from these guys that are here with me. But and I'm going to pass it to them. But hey, thanks for spending time with us today. This is Pest World Week. Some of you that are listening to this may be at Pest World. My guess is a lot of you are not at Pest World, and we're going to kind of give you some of the experience of what it's like in the Real Pest World House. And for those of you that are listening to this after the fact, because my guess is the people that are at Pest World right now are not listening to this until later, make sure that you go to our Facebook group, Bug Bux, BUG-BUX, and join. We posted so much content this week, and get involved. So I'm going to pass it over to these guys that helped organize the Real Pest World House and kind of tell us what it was about. We talked about it a little before, but now we're living it. So why don't you start, Travis? Tell us what is the big scope? Not what are we doing, but why are we doing this?
It started just as me trying to hang out with some buddies, and then it turned into the Princess Room. But honestly, big scope, I want to be around like-minded people, or people that are doing bigger things than I am, and I want that for everyone. Everyone's not the size of an Allan Draper, and I want people to even have access to you, truthfully. So we're doing it kind of big. Honestly, this house is way better than I imagined.
Yeah.
Looking at it, I definitely wasn't worried that I wasn't gonna have a room to sleep in like certain people, but I didn't expect it to actually be as cool or even better than what I expected.
For sure.
Go ahead, Maddie.
I thought something that was unique about what we're trying to do is I feel like I was at least a part of the generation before this generation that was participating in the PCO world, right? And in my father's generation, everybody kept their cards close to their chest. Nobody really shared information. We didn't have access to things that would help our businesses grow. And so everybody learned with a lot of hard work and a lot of luck and a lot of time, right? And what I love about what happens at Bug Bux and what we're attempting to do with the Real Pest World actually is I love that we're opening up lines of communication to almost every level of business. Businesses that are thriving and growing, businesses that are in that middle place, and businesses that are kind of just getting off the ground. And what's interesting is, unlike the generation before this one, everybody's willing and open to share their resources because there's such an opportunity out there for everybody. Nobody's trying to protect. I mean, you guys share a market. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Nobody's trying to cover their cards. Everybody's trying to figure out best practices and what's going to get us to the next level. Because the truth is, especially from a digital marketing perspective, artificial intelligence opened up information to everybody. Yeah. So why not allow that information to kind of be channeled through something like this, where we can share not just what we have access to out there and through AI, but also what we have access to by way of our experience, right? How we can help each other and how we can get each other to the next level.
Yeah, 100%. So last night, before I get to that, you guys that are listening to this, what I need you to do, if you're listening to it the same day that it drops, I need you to go to our social media, either our Instagram or our Facebook for Bug Bux. We're doing a competition and it's for charity. We all have different charities that we're supporting through this process, and we need you to vote. We're going to be doing several different events, but we need you to check that out on social media. If this is after the fact, if this is after Pest World Week, don't worry about it. But the week of, make sure you go and vote, especially if this is sometime Thursday. Last night, Tyler, Travis, and I I think most people went to bed by about 1 a.m.
11.
And the Arizonans stayed up until 3 a.m. talking about anything and everything pest control. And that's the thing, is that technically we compete, but we're in the Phoenix market, and I'm in a bunch of different markets. And dude, I've never really thought of it as, if you get a customer, I lose one. Yeah. Honestly, even if it is a former proof customer, I don't think of it like that. And that's what I like about how you put this together. We have somebody in the house that I don't know what the revenue is, but just got started.
Shout out, Joe.
Yeah.
Shout out to Joe.
I think
this is his
room. He's a pretty princess.
So, like, for me, you know, and that's what Bug Bux was about. Yeah. So I ran Bug Bux for 3 years before one of my former partners came to me and was like, hey, let's monetize this. And it's the same concept of, dude, and honestly, there's people here that have been asking me questions like, hey, what about this? What about that? But I feel like I get a ton out of it also. And it comes in like weird ways. We have vendors coming to the house that I use, and it's helping Proof and Bug Bux and Lizard. And so it's such a cool concept. And we're just getting started, for the record. Yeah. We're just getting started with this. And I don't know if like we're going to change the theme next year, whatever. PestWorld next year is in the Dallas, Texas area. It's at a Gaylord Hotel. And
not for us.
We're going to be staying somewhere else, and we're going to be doing something even bigger. What's going to change, Travis, for next year? Like, I don't want to give too much away, but like, in what ways will it be bigger? In what ways will we be adding to this networking event that we're doing outside of PestWorld?
Yeah, I think that we spent the last few weeks kind of just throwing this thing together. Mm-hmm. So I think we'll have a lot more planning. It'll be more curated. Vendors and partnerships will be cleaner. And it's going to be probably double in size of people that are actually staying in the house. And we'll do different events of like masterminds and that type of thing. But really, it's going to be an experience. Like Monday, like last night, obviously, I think it was a pretty good turnout. 30 people, crazy. 40 people. Yeah. But I want to have the biggest opening, ceremony or party or whatever. Like my vision is Billy Madison. Yeah. Like I want a Billy Madison
more
party.
More like Project X. Like jumping off the roof.
Can I piggyback on that?
Yeah. Awesome.
There's like, when we're talking about this and we're still pulling this thing out of the ether, right?
Yeah.
So we're writing in pencils, what I say at Lizard. We're not writing in pen yet, right? I think the things that are important is to make sure that we always have space available in the house for people that are just getting started, right? Mm-hmm. So they can have access to people that are halfway and people that have made it, right? I think the second thing is there's always going to be an element of charity, right? Whatever we're doing, we're not just pooling our resources to pool our resources. We're pooling our resources to give back and out, right? Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is to make it contextual to wherever it is that we are. I think one of the greatest things about even this experience is I know and talk to so many of the people in the house, but not like share space like this. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so to get the opportunity, even in Dallas next year, to do something that is specific to Dallas with these friendships that we're making and like building off the ground and putting more context to, I think it's freaking awesome. Like if you think about it, for Joe in particular, the relationships that he'll make in this house while he goes back to Jersey to continue to build his business, he'll keep them forever. He'll speed dial when he's nervous or scared or trying to figure something out forever. And I think that the value there is amazing. Oh, when we grew Killingsworth, we didn't have access to anything like that. And so to give that to people that are going to kind of share this together, I think it's freaking awesome.
Yeah. Well, something interesting that Travis said this morning is he's like, hey, I wonder how long our text thread is going to last.
It's freaking long.
And it's
like
next
year.
And that's the thing is that I want that text thread to just keep going.
You just change the last number on the year.
Yeah, exactly. add more people.
And just add people to it. Yeah. So, and last night as we were talking, I'm not going to say who, but somebody wanted to get into this house so bad that he offered to pay for the entire thing for the week by himself. And Travis said no.
Yeah. Shut up.
Yeah. So I can only imagine what next year is going to be like. This is awesome. Like, I've I've been involved in some cool companies. I've built some companies that have completely failed. I've built some companies that are kind of in the middle. I've invested in companies that are in the middle. The whole gambit. And like, I think the key for me, it's cliche. I say a lot of cliche stuff. But for me, the reason why it's cliche is because it's true. And when you do stuff like this and you like watch out for each other, dude, it comes back. And you don't always know when and you don't always know how. But like with Joe, like we're sitting on his bed right now, but
In the pre-princess room.
dude, Joe, at some point in his life, it's going to be a blessing to our lives that Joe was here, which is a really weird way of thinking about it. And I try not to do it because of that, but I know that it's true.
Yeah.
So.
Well, no, we're all giving back in some way, but like, you know, our conversation last night till 3 a.m, like for me, I'm newer in the pest control industry, right? But, you know, we've all interacted over the last year that I've been in the business, but the magic happens from 12 to 3.
Yeah.
That's when you're supposed to, you know, be sitting out, whether you drink a beer or not, but you're hanging out and you're shooting the shit and you're really getting in the weeds of how you built this and where you're going and who you are as a person and how you can support other people. There's so many conversations that don't happen in a conference room or at a convention.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, at a hotel, because everybody goes to their separate rooms and goes to sleep.
Yeah.
But here, we're sitting on the couch till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And it's real.
And it's way different because like in a like when we're in the convention hall, which is going to be in a couple hours, things won't be said. Yeah. But how many times, I know I've said it personally several times over the last 24 hours, have I said, hey, does somebody have a camera on? Before, you know? And it's not always because, you know, it's just I'm sharing stuff that I don't want to share publicly.
Yeah.
I'm sharing stuff with people that I trust. And anyway, guys, this is awesome. Like, I want closing thoughts from Travis, but as we're wrapping up, I just want to say thank you. Like, honestly, like I was just kind of told to show up because of you guys.
You're welcome.
A lot of the stuff I learned about the podcast, I learned when we were recording that live episode in Phoenix. So, I mean, there's some value to just being like, all right, why not? Let's go for it. But
no, I've talked to several owners over the last like week that have either been like, that's dumb that the house is happening. Like, you're not going to gain anything. You know, networking with other pest control owners isn't going to get anything out of it. But like, we've had conversations of like, Allan, like this is my grand scheme of things. And you're like, yeah. But for me, I'm scared of those thoughts. You know what I mean? But hearing it from somebody like you, you're like, no, you should. I'm like, okay, well, I thought I was a weirdo. But like those conversations last night and this morning don't happen in the exhibit hall.
No way, dude.
And so
possible.
For me, I think that if you come here with like an open mind and like really just have a servant's heart, like you'll get so much freaking out of it. And I really do think next year is going to like blow people's minds.
Everything's bigger in Texas, boys.
Yes,
Everything's bigger.
Yes, sir. Love it. All right, guys, stay tuned. We're actually moving rooms and we're going to change topics. Thanks, brother. Yeah. Let's go to the next spot. Hey, guys, come into the cinema room. So guys. Hey, guys, we're in the cinema room now. I've got Billy, I've got Joe, and I've got Kevin. And we're going to be talking about two things. One, what are our goals for PestWorld? What are we trying to get out of PestWorld? And then on top of that, what are we trying to get out of the Real Pest World of Orlando, or like this networking group that we're doing? So, and I'll kick it off. For me, it's really important before I do something to understand why I'm doing it, or like at least have some type of objective, especially when and the more expensive of an investment, the more clear I want that to be. So PestWorld's not cheap. For me, PestWorld, I mean, I'm here with Bug Bux, I'm here with Lizard, so getting the word out about my companies. But I think, you know, it's the networking, and there's different levels of networking. But with PestWorld, like seeing people that I see once a year, I talk to once a year, that type of thing. But with this house, like, and I've talked about this before, but getting on a different level of networking. And in the first session, I was actually talking a little bit about Joe. And I don't know exactly how Joe like affects my life right now. I love interacting with him, sharing with him, talking about pest control, but like just having that connection, because there's going to be a time in my life where I'm going to call Joe up and I'm going to be like, Joe, I need a favor. And that favor could be, I have a buddy that just started a pest control company in New Jersey. He doesn't know anything about licensing. I need you to give him a call, right? Yeah. So for me, this house is about that. It's like PestWorld. It's important for me to connect with my vendors, people that support my businesses, and then also connect with fellow pest control owners. But this house is more about like, hey, these are like relationships that I'm going to lean on in the future. So that's for me. So what about you, Billy? What do you want to get out of PestWorld?
I feel like, you kind of stole my answer there a little bit, but I think from a networking perspective at the vendor level, like I've met cool people like Chaz, Estrada, and some of these other vendors where they've opened my eyes to products that I didn't know about before that are super helpful for my business. Hopefully I can meet a couple more of those while we're here. But mainly at the house, it's my main objective is just to soak up as much information as I can from guys like you and Jonas and Kendall and guys that are doing big things in my eyes that I feel like I can glean a lot of positive information from. And I don't really get that shot. Like, I mean, we work out once a year, that's my shot to like get my info from Allan. But now I have 3 days to just kind of take it in from all you guys. So that was my goal, is just to be the fly on the wall and learn what I can.
Heck yeah.
So for me, I am so new in the business. I don't know that I necessarily have one objective, right? I just know that I'm sitting in a house with a bunch of killers in the business. So my main thing, what I told myself coming in, is just be a sponge, right? You don't know what you don't know. So learn from everybody, no matter what like part of the industry they're in. Like some guys do termite, which I don't do, but I still can learn something from them. So that's kind of how I'm taking it, and the perspective I'm putting on myself.
Cool. Love it, brother.
Yeah. That's great. It's a special moment that we have here. We come from all over the country. We're in different markets. We're in different stages of life, but also in business as well. I think it's so cool how we've been put here on a purpose too. We have so much to give to one another, and I think that's really, really important, is giving back to the community that's given so much to you. And so that's what this week's really about for me, is like, hey, how can I give back to somebody who's just starting out, but also how can I learn so much that I can bring back to my team, bring back to my city, and give to my city, in a new way, in a new light. Just like what Billy was saying, talking to other vendors, how can we grow and become more efficient into our business, and how can we scale our company? This is what it's all about, is growing and scaling our company in the most effective manner that's comfortable for you in your setting. And so whether that means being comfortable with what you're doing, or it's okay being uncomfortable, learning new things on how to scale your business. And the only way to do that is to be able to put yourself into a setting like this house. It's special. You're able to talk to people that have been in business for 5 years or 15 or 20 years that have learned things that you have yet to learn. And so it's kind of like a hack. I look at it as a big cheat code. Yeah. Honestly.
No, I think you avoid a lot of pitfalls. You know what I'm saying?
Big time. These guys have gone through the stages that you have yet to go through. And so if they can expedite your growth through, hey, I learned this along the way, you might want to go, left over here instead of going right, And so I think that's the biggest thing that I'm able to take away from a week like today, or this week, is just having those conversations, whether it's with vendors or new softwares coming out. It's really, really special because you're able to take in all this information and then actually apply it to your business. And so, yeah, that's what I'm really excited about for this week, is what can I apply immediately as soon as I get home to my team and help me grow and scale for the next season to come. I think it's coming at a great point. Everyone's kind of coming off the busy season of the year, and it's at a perfect time where it's like, hey, what did you do really well this season? What did you need to work on? And so breaking that down to an intimate level, this house is a great place for us to do that, where we can actually discuss and get raw and real, and hey, we need to work on this, and we did really, really well at this. Yeah. Let me share that. Let me share our wins. And so other people can take those wins and they can become their wins.
Yeah. So, no, that's super cool. I talk a lot about how a company can't get above the level of the owner, or if it's a CEO that's not an owner, whatever, right? The leader. The business can't get above that level. And so for me, it's like, I have these goals for PestWorld, and I have these goals for networking within this house and what this house is going to become next year and years to come. But I'm also thinking like about like, how do I get better? And one thing that I'm working on is becoming a better networker. Ran into a guy just randomly in some random Walmart yesterday, and we're in Orlando. I live in Arizona. I don't have any businesses in Florida. And this guy knew me, and I knew him, and I could not remember his name, bro. Really good guy, friend of mine. I consider him a friend, and it's like I got to get better. And so this week for me, it's like I'm working specifically on my networking skills, especially with as it pertains to what can I do for somebody. So I'm always trying to like, hey, how do I connect this person? And so several times, like even this morning, and this is day one of PestWorld. We're recording this on Tuesday, but I'm asking people, hey, do you know this person in your market? If not, you should, or whatever. And I never know if anything's going to come of that, right? I don't know what's going to happen, but that's one thing that I'm trying to improve, like personally, not just like get out of or information I'm trying to obtain, but like one thing that I'm trying to get better at. And I'll just open it up. Do you guys have anything this week where you're like, hey, for my business, I want to personally improve upon anything? Have you guys thought about that? Is that something that you're interested in kind of using PestWorld in this networking event for?
Yeah, for me personally, it's about learning about other marketing strategies that I might not be currently implementing. Right now, we're really focusing on organic growth, whether it's through Google, but mainly through social media, connecting with other people that are doing that really, really well. And so I can even be more optimized for that is great. I come back, from a door-to-door background as well, talking to other door-to-door guys, whether they're doing it on a smaller scale or a larger scale. I want to learn more about it. Even though I have that background, I want to currently hear their testimonies, see how the season was going, their efficiencies, because might open that branch one day, so we'll see. But I'm really excited to just hear about their testimonies more and more and see how we can open that up for Rife Environmental.
That's
and
cool.
So I think just learning about marketing strategies, I'm so focused in on marketing, and I think having that mindset for PestWorld, I want to hear everyone's different marketing strategy. So that's my main focus.
Dude, I like that because even though it's not necessarily specific, kind of like mine, it's kind of this general, like I want to become better at networking and working with people one-on-one. What happens is when you're like, hey, dude, I'm focusing on marketing and learning about strategies I'm not familiar with, you're going to start hearing stuff and seeing stuff that you wouldn't, because you already have this perspective, right?
Right.
So it's like your name. That's like the epitome of recognition.
Right.
It's like you can hear your name in a crowd better than anything else because you've learned that like, hey, that's relevant to me. And so you're telling yourself, hey, these different types of marketing, they're relevant to me. So I'm going to be on the outlook for that, which is a great perspective. So any other thoughts, guys, before we wrap up?
Yeah, so for myself, marketing as well, but specifically low-cost marketing ideas, right? I am very new into the business, so I don't have like a lot of capital I can just pull from. So guys like Travis and Tyler, they, with their influencers, it's unbelievable what they're doing, and you can give them free service and you can pay them a referral fee. So it's not like something you have to go out and pay for directly right away, right? So that's something I'm really looking to hone in on and listen to these guys talk and watch them make their content because it's just unbelievable to see.
Cool. Yeah. Right on. Anything from you, Billy?
I just think my biggest thing from this week was I told Tay if I could learn 2 things at PestWorld and bring them home and apply them to the business immediately, like Kev was saying, that was a win for me. So what those 2 things are doesn't matter. My biggest focus is like, you don't know what you don't know, and what I think I know is probably wrong. So I'm cool to like break some beliefs I have in terms of growth and how to get where I want to go and systems, all that kind of stuff. And I'm eager to see who's going to help me, like what I'm going to glean, like I was saying earlier, from you or from someone else where it's like, oh, you know what? I'm thinking about that incorrectly. And this is actually how I should do it.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for coming to the house, man. Like it's fun how like each personality, and we've got Arizona, New Jersey, South Carolina, and then everywhere else in the house. like, but the personalities, like, we're meshing well, and it's just kind of this solid group. And this was just an experiment, and we're like not even 24 hours into this.
We're lab rats.
And exactly, sign me up.
We're all learning.
Exactly.
Constantly learning. I think it's really cool to see putting faces to names the entire week.
Heck yeah.
Hey, I saw you on the Bug Bux, page a year ago. You made this question, and then being like, hey, let's talk about that person. How was that? Did you implement this? Did you improve on that? And so, yeah, this whole community is just really, really special.
For sure.
And so being able to have it in person, it's something that's like one of one.
Dude, and that's the thing is that you can't replicate that. Like, I'm in socks and like the shorts I slept in. Like, dude, I can't. If I meet somebody online and it's just different. Yeah. And so having that face to face and like special is just different. So, well, thanks guys. We're headed to the next room to continue the show, but thanks for joining us, and hopefully you guys are all in Dallas with us next year.
Yeah, we'll be there.
We'll be there.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, nailed it. Thanks guys.
Yeah, of course.
All right, brother.
Thanks, Allan.
All right, let's go to the next room. Welcome to the billiard room. What's up, guys?
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
All right, guys. So something that's really important to me is finding out like why I do stuff. And it took me a while for that to be meaningful. And I think the main reason for me, there's a couple, but one of the reasons why I'm so focused on my purpose or why I'm trying to do something is the harder something becomes, the more that matters. Because it's really hard for me to like, and we all do it, where it's like, why am I even doing this, right? So I wanted to talk about, part of the competition that we're doing in the house this week is the winner gets to donate some money to their charity of choice, which I think is awesome. Wasn't my idea, but great idea. And so I wanted to talk about, and you guys can talk about your charity or whatever else, but I kind of wanted to go around and hear from you guys and hear about your why for whatever, for your business, your personal life, for the charity, whatever. What is the why? We'll start with Danny and just kind of let's talk about that and how it impacts, like specifically how good you are at whatever area that we're talking about.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me here, Allan. And I think this is a great topic, and I think it's kind of understated. Everyone wants to talk about lead generation or marketing, but when you wake up in the morning, I feel like you have to have some kind of drive. There has to be some reason to wake up. There has to be some reason to take on all the difficulties of being an entrepreneur, right? So for me, a few years ago, I found out my mission or my why or whatever you'd like to call it is to inspire people. I am really passionate about inspiring people. I'd say mainly young men, but really that's just people as a whole. And I feel like the first and foremost best way to do that is just to be the best version of myself. So I'm really striving to be as good of a man as possible, to be as good of a Christian as possible, to give back to as many people as possible, and just do the right things, try to do as few bad things as possible, and overall to serve as a role model and an inspiration to others. And inspiration is kind of weird, but I feel like there was one day, it was a few years ago, where it just clicked. I was looking for my mission, and I feel like a lot of people maybe still are looking for their mission or their why, and I just felt like I was really called to that of, I want to bring people up. I want to inspire people to do better. I feel like so many people have so much potential, but they never truly harness it, and that's what I'm really passionate about.
I love that. It's really cool to like go after something that's so necessary, right? There's so many people that they have the skill set, they have like all the resources they need, but I like to tie some of that inspiration to like, hey, you can do it, mm-hmm. right? It's not just like you should or whatever. It's like because I don't know about you guys, but I have so much imposter syndrome. A lot of people don't know that about me, but when I accomplish something in my life, I have all these thoughts. Like one that gets me a lot is you got lucky. And so I've started a few businesses and not all of them have panned out, but the ones that do, it's always like, and no matter what number it is, it's always like, oh, you got lucky this time. And so having somebody like that, that's like, no, man. And regardless of how you do, whether you succeed or not, you're good enough. Like people don't tell guys that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right?
Right? They don't tell us like, hey, it doesn't matter And I think, and females need to hear it more too, for sure. But I think it's more common. And for guys, it's like, dude, it does not matter. If we're doing a good job at home with our kids and our wife, like, it doesn't matter. So, dude, that's awesome. Josh, what about you? What's kind of on your mind?
Oh man, I found purpose in a lot of different directions through all of this, and there's been different phases as we've grown. Obviously, when you grow to be a larger company, you can have a bigger impact in other ways. It started with, building something for my daughter. I grew up very poor. So giving her a different life than what I experienced. We're doing a massive toy drive right now, and we're trying to make it the most impactful toy drive in the entire area. Because when I was a kid, I remember, I didn't know any better, but a truck came down the road every Christmas and delivered presents to us. We were a sponsored family, so we got those things through that. So, where we are now, we're able to give like that, but it takes a strong team to even build something like that. So what we've found is, like, we have this huge commitment to personal growth, because I grew up a very shy kid. I didn't come out of my comfort zone at all. And then as I started to get older, I started facing some of those things that were holding me back in life. And what I've learned is a lot of men deal with that, and a lot of women deal with that too, like you said. But the more vulnerable I am with them, the more they're going to be vulnerable back. So we've built this company based on vulnerability-based trust, and it's led to guys opening up, and it's led to a lot of tears and stuff, and they're okay with it now. And that's been really cool. But you have guys that would never read a book since high school because it was mandatory. Now we're excited about these programs that we're building with, where we're going through books, we're going through podcasts, we're going through articles. We have a curriculum to it all, and they're thirsting for knowledge now. And we opened up this thing in them, and that's like the most powerful thing to see that come out of these guys while you're trying to grow yourself. Because I deal with the imposter syndrome stuff too. I haven't been as successful as you, but I've had some successes, and every time it's like, is it luck? Is it because I just did this one thing, right? Or could I do it again? And, and we're starting to venture out in other areas, and we're starting to get, lucky again, because we're pushing ourselves out there and doing that. And I think the more wins you start to get, you have to look back and go, all right, I did that, and I'm not going to take credit for that. Like, one of my directors at work said, hey man, when are you going to stop beating yourself up? Like, when are you going to look back at your track record and see that you are a winner, and that you make these great decisions for the company and great decisions for your family that push you forward? So we got to stop beating ourselves up so much. Struggle with that every single day. But, I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Doing this is out of my comfort zone completely. First thing I thought is, no, I'm not doing that. And then I went, no, I'm in a season of yes right now. I'm doing it. I'm just going to do it and grow. And, I'll just stack the win after win.
I love it, man. So I read a book recently. I'm trying to think of the author, but the idea, the entire premise of the book is it's the gap and the gain. And a lot of times, highly motivated people were focused on the gap, which is where we are now from where we want to be. And the idea was to persuade us to focus more on the gain, which is where did we come from, or where were we, and where are we now? And it sounds like it's very similar to me, Josh, in a lot of ways, where it's like, and I grew up pretty poor too, and I slept on the ground for the first 6 years of my life next to my brother. And I need to focus more on the gain, where it's like, I'm not there anymore, but I'm always pushing myself, because we find, and one of my issues was I don't focus on the gain because I feel like if I do, then I'm not motivated. And in this book, Benjamin Hardy is the author. He talks about how, like, no, you're actually more motivated because you're not beating yourself up. You're saying, look at how far I've come, therefore, look at how much further I can go. And where I've come is enough. It's enough. But just because it's enough doesn't mean I'm going to stop, right? So that's awesome, man. It's kind of hitting home because it sounds very familiar. So, all right, brother, tell me about kind of your focus, and what are some things that are like deeply motivating to you? Like, hey, these are my purposes for whatever things you're focused on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to kind of touch on what these guys have said a little bit and then just add my own twist. Yeah, I just grew up, again, in a humble Christian home, 4 siblings, mom, and dad. We didn't have a lot, so we were homeschooled. So I kind of relate to Josh, where it's like homeschooling can be great, but it also can make it tough to have like a social life, to where it's like it can be hard to come out of that. So trust me, you should have seen me 10, 15 years ago, where it's like, I agree with Josh, it's like even doing things like this, it's like my first thought is like, no, that's too hard. It's just too social for me to try to do. But just like saying yes. So I love what Josh was saying, like just say yes, just like don't limit yourself. Stop doing that to yourself and acting like, yeah, I am this imposter, because that's another thing I know we talked about, where it's like I struggled with that, and I still do, where it's like, barely got through high school. I got held back 2 years. So I was supposed to be a junior in high school, got held back to freshman year. That sucked. That was really hard on my mental health, and just like I'm hanging out with these freshman kids when I'm supposed to be almost getting ready to graduate. So that, and then even just once we were homeschooled and then went to a private school, I definitely felt the pressure of like, I heard in the wind, like, that Michael guy, he's not going to do much. He's just not going to go very far. He's going to go to McDonald's and just flip burgers. And so that was just another thing where it's like, who am I? What am I doing? And so even as I got into the bug world, I'm like, I'm just a bug guy. I'm just a bug guy. And then all of a sudden I realized, no, like this, what we do is, there's just so many facets to it. And I'm sure we've talked about so many parts, just like what we're doing for our community, what we're doing for our families, just the fact that, we are like an essential service. So there's just so many things that I could touch on. But I think the thing that I'll just say is, just being able to break through. And I've got 4 little boys at home, and obviously we know that Jesus is guiding everything that we do, but being able to be in a place where we just trust the Lord, and no matter what the success looks like, whether that's a single operator or 30, 40 employees, the success is going to look different for each of us. And just basically just putting your head down, meeting great people, and just continuing to grow.
It's incredible, man. It's like, dude, those 4 little boys, that's motivation, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's incredible.
Yes.
Like, it's cool to be a father. I have a couple of boys, and it's like, dude, I just, it's like I just want to be a good man for them.
Absolutely.
They need to see that. So, no, man. You know what's cool about this is like everybody's got their story, right?
Yeah.
And I think our why needs to be centered on that. Like, hey, where do we come from? Why did that impact us so much? And how do we help people that are like similarly situated? How do we help the people like we used to be? And in pest control and in related industries, we get to do it because of the people that we connect with. Yeah. It's like, we have these opportunities. And anyway, cool stories. We're out of time. This was awesome. Very like touching segment for the podcast. For the listener, make sure that you go, especially if you're listening to this the Thursday that it drops. I need you to go to our Bug Bux Instagram or Facebook group and vote for whatever professional or business owner you think should win the money for their charity. We need your votes. Make sure that if you're not a member of Bug Bux, you go there. Just go into Facebook, find the group BUG, and I really invite you, if you're listening to this on one of the podcast platforms, go to YouTube when you get a minute. Don't have to listen to it again, but just check out all the different rooms. This was a really cool house that we stayed in. And here's the last thing I'll leave you with. We're going to start building this for Dallas next year, and we're going to start accepting applications. So be on the lookout for that. There's obviously going to be limited space. We had limited space for this one. So if you're interested, let us know, and we'll let you know how to throw your name in the hat for that. And until next time, keep building those bug businesses.
Thank you so much for listening to the Bug Bux Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please show your support by subscribing and leaving us an honest 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you, and we'll catch you on the next episode.